Hi, welcome to the IndyCar Dad Podcast. We're previewing the Freedom 250, or as I like to call it, the Epstein 250. The race is in Washington, D.C. The track features really only one right-hand corner, and it's a 1.7-mile street circuit. So this is going to be a high-speed track with only 7 corners, or really kind of 5 corners, or 6 corners, I'm sorry. And 1.7 miles, this has got some long straightaways. We're going to see some high-speed racing and some hard braking at this track. Longtime fans of the series know that interesting tracks sometimes make for bad racing, and simple tracks like ovals often make for great racing. So we don't know what we're going to have. Last week we had an interesting track which made for amazing racing at Markham. I really enjoyed the last week's race, and this week I think we're in for a totally different flavor of IndyCar. Sure, they're both street circuits, but I think this one with the high speeds and the simple track layout, I think we'll see a little bit of a different race. Anyway, each week I give you drivers you might want to watch in the race. And the reason I do this is I want you to have a good time watching IndyCar. We're here for fun. This is recreation. Watching racing is supposed to be something fun. So I'm going to point out some drivers that will probably have interesting races. This may mean they win. It also may mean they finish dead last or crash or anything like that. So these are people that you can watch on the leaderboard when you're watching the race. Normally I start with the fastest guys, but today I'm going to start with the most likely to crash. And I have 2 drivers for you that, based on the last street circuits, have often ended up in the wall. The first one I'm going to have you watch is Kyle Collette. He shows flashes of brilliance, but as a rookie, he also makes enough mistakes that he has a really poor finishing average on these types of tracks and a low standard deviation, which means he almost always finishes very badly. So watch for Kyle Collette to not have a good race. I could be wrong. I'm just telling you, this is something to watch. So if Kyle Collette has a great race, it's a big outlier for him and should be celebrated. The next guy I'm going to talk about, I talk about almost every week because his results are awful. This person is terrible right now. Christian Rasmussen has an awful record on street tracks. Just absolutely terrible. Numbers that when you start analyzing these figures make you wonder what he is even doing in the series and why Ed Carpenter Racing, or ECR, has already renewed him for next year. He has the second worst average finish on these types of tracks of all the drivers. The only one worse than him is Mick Schumacher. And Mick, being a rookie, maybe we can cut him some slack, but man, Rasmussen should not be in the position he's in. Horrible results with a low standard deviation, meaning he's almost always finishing very poorly. So there you go. Here's 3 drivers I want you to watch that are checkers or wreckers. Scott McLaughlin, Will Power, and Scott Dixon. These are guys that have sort of midfield average finishes, but high standard deviation, which means sometimes they finish really high and sometimes they finish really low. So watch Dixon, Power, and McLaughlin for the checkers or wreckers factor of their performance. And then this week I'm ending on who's going to do really well because I think you know what's coming here. Alex Palou is the most likely guy to win here. He has the highest average finish on these types of tracks. Kyle Kirkwood remains in second, but it's kind of a distant second. Marcus Ericsson, does well in these sort of chaotic new kind of races, and you saw him win last weekend at Markham, and he won on pure pace. Marcus Ericsson was the fastest guy in that race. It wasn't strategy that got him the win, it was pace. And then Pato O'Ward is good in these conditions. So look for those 4, Palou, Kirkwood, Ericsson, and O'Ward to be near the front. There'll be other guys too. Other people have good performance in these types of races. But these are the 9 guys I want you to watch. Palou, Kirkwood, Ericsson, O'Ward for performance. Dixon, Power, McLaughlin, some of the old guard for checkers or wreckers. And Kyle Collette, Christian Rasmussen, if you're betting on who's going to finish last place. There you go. I'm IndyCar Dad. Thanks for following. You'll find me on social media, and you'll find my podcast on podcast networks everywhere. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.